What's good, everybody? Welcome to the Pull Up Show. My name is BJ Matthews, aka B Jizzle. For get started for us on the YouTube page, the Pull Up Basketball Podcast. Like, share, subscribe all of our YouTube videos by hitting that notification bell by the subscribe button. As well, if you'd like to donate to the Pull Up Basketball Podcast, you can do so in the ticker where it says Cash App, $ BJ Matthews. I'll put the pinned comment inside the comment section after, where you can go and click that link, or you can choose to go through our super comment or super chat on the same line where it says like, dislike, or share underneath this video. Scroll to the right and you'll see the button that says thanks with the heart symbol. You can donate that way. So let's get it popping. Yes, sir. We are back with another day of NBA basketball. Last night was, very high impact NBA Wednesday on ESPN. And the last game of the night last night was between the Dallas Mavericks and the Phoenix Suns. Of course, there was a game before that, the New York Knicks and Memphis Grizzlies, where Ja Morant erupted with 34 points, I believe, and had spectacular plays during the clutch. So that was a great game by Ja Morant and the Memphis Grizzlies. But I want to talk about the Phoenix Suns and the Dallas Mavericks right now. The reason being is there's a lot of history between these two dating back to last year. And we all saw the debacle that the Phoenix Suns displayed at home in Game 7 to the Dallas Mavericks. And since then, the Phoenix Suns has been kind of looked at as now being that team where they're kind of fraudulent. Kind of similar to the Utah Jazz in the 2021 playoffs when they got exposed by the Clippers. That's how I think a lot of teams are looking at the Suns right now. Season team, but when it gets to the playoffs, they're gonna fold. Will that happen again remains to see. But from what I seen last night, I saw some things that the Phoenix Suns, I think, figured out that can help them throughout the rest of the season and going into the playoffs if they make it, which I'm pretty sure they will. I don't mean to just give all the credit to one person, you know what I'm saying? I know y'all see the title of the video about Devin Booker getting better, but I want to give credit to also other people on the Phoenix Suns, starting with the coach, Monty Williams, who made great adjustments with putting different pieces into the lineup, such as, Cameron Payne and Damian Lee, who I feel like were the energy people to replace Chris Paul and Cam Johnson, right? So as a coach, you have to be able to put in different lineups and not be afraid to do things that are against the grain, you know what I mean? So I think that's what Monty Williams did last night. I think he had the wherewithal to bench Chris Paul because he did not look like himself. We do know Chris Paul's a year bit older. Could this be the slowdown of Chris Paul? Could this be the year that Chris Paul is going to take a back seat? And I'm going to get into the next point after what I mean by that. But big ups to Monty Williams for making that coaching change into the roster. I want to also give credit, like I said, to Damian Lee. Man, you guys know Damian Lee came from the Golden State Warriors and not get much burn on the Warriors last year. And a lot of people were saying that the reason why he got on the team was because he's Steph Curry's brother-in-law. So big ups to Damian Lee for getting on a new team and making the best of it. He was definitely the guy who hit the big shots last night down the stretch. And he was ready for his moment. So that's what the NBA is about. So I'm pretty sure they're going to give him more minutes and slowly start working him into the rotation, especially with Landry Shamet out right now. Cameron Payne came from a situation where he was on a G League team where he was not even drafted or he wasn't even playing a couple years ago. So Monty Williams took a risk on this dude to come in and be his backup point guard behind Chris Paul. So big ups to Cam Payne for being ready for the moment. Him being able to be a steady point guard and knowing his role, right? So big ups to him. Now, the Phoenix Suns, like I said, if I want to talk about the Phoenix Suns, basically who they are, they're that team that, like I said, from last season going into this season, they remind me of the Utah Jazz in 2021 because of how their season ended. You got to think, them losing the way they did as a number one seed and looking at being going to the finals, going back to the finals, that's a mental hurdle that you have to get over when something like that happens, getting beat like that on your home court. I think they were down by damn near 30 points in the first half. So the game was over, before the second half even started. So that's a very big hurdle you have to get over. So them winning that game last night, 105-107, really, I think, was not just a regular season game like Monty Williams said. It was a game that needed to be won. And by all indications leading up to the second half, the first half was looking like the Suns were going to, get beat again. And I went to bed actually pretty early last night, so I missed some of the fourth quarter. And, my thing is, okay, well, the Suns are, pretty much down. We'll see what happens. I'll see the score in the morning. Then I wake up and I see ESPN says Suns come back through Devin Booker's 28 points. I'm like, what? So I checked the score. It's 105, 107. I'm like, wow. Check the highlights and I see what happened. Look back at some of the game film. I'm like, okay, now I see what's going on. But I want to give the last credit to these last two people, Deandre Ayton and Devin Booker. Deandre Ayton, I think it's time for the Phoenix Suns to start playing their offense through him. We all know Deandre Ayton was frustrated this past year with Monty Williams because of what happened over in the Game 7 when Monty Williams accused him of quitting. And it was kind of, undetermined if he was going to be happy coming back to the Suns. Deandre Ayton is a first round pick. I don't think people understand what Deandre Ayton came in to the league as. He came as the first pick of, I think, the 17 or 18 draft over Luka Doncic. So this guy was brought in to be the number one option on the Phoenix Suns, not Chris Paul. Once Chris Paul came to the team, I feel like he took away some of DeAndre Ayton's shine. I think he took his big contract he was supposed to get. He had to prolong his contract for Chris Paul. I think they should have been looking to get DeAndre Ayton more as the number one offense over CP3. And I think that's what they did last night. They chose to feed the big, and I think they chose to, let him, be active down the paint, right? Because DeAndre Ayton has like a 40-inch vertical. He has, great athleticism. He has great size. He's not the most physical center, but he does have an advantage over about, I would say, 85 to 90% of the other center. I think he's a top 5 center in the league, right? So I think you got to be able to find ways to get him involved and Chris Paul to take less shots. And I think Monty Williams looked at himself and said, you know what? We need to actually roll with this group and leave CP3 out. And that's what he did. And big ups to the main guy, in my opinion, Devin Booker, who I feel like got better last night. I feel like Devin Booker, at times, I don't know what it is, his field goal percentage is not as high as it could be. He has the perfect jump shot. He has the perfect form, all that good stuff. So you look and see why his field goal percentage doesn't match that all the time. It's because of his shot selection. I think D Book takes a lot of, shots that are kind of like not really great shots. But I think last night what I saw him do, I saw him, first of all, get more aggressive as far as getting better shots. Get DeAndre Ayton more involved, trusting his teammates, Damian Lee and campaign, and leading the charge for the second group of guys. And I thought that's going to impact throughout the rest of the season. Devin Booker, this is all on his shoulders now. It's not on Chris Paul's. We saw Chris Paul, he's about to be 38 years old this upcoming year. Chris Paul can't carry no more. It has to be Devin Booker. D Book, and Chris Paul has to be accepting of that. They have to allow D Book to be the guy. And I think last night they saw D Book being the guy for the Phoenix Suns. And I think he was making the right reads. You got to remember, he's 6'7". So if Devin Booker puts his shoulder into, other smaller guards, into their chest, he's going to get in his spots. He's going to find DeAndre Ayton for the lob. He's going to find Cam Johnson for the 3. He's going to find Mikal Bridges. He's going to find Landry Shamet when he comes back. That's why I saw he has a lot of offensive weapons. The problem with the Suns is not scoring the ball. The problem with the Suns is their toughness. They don't have no enforcer. The Jay Crowder was their tough guy, but they don't really have no really nasty presence on that team as far as any bigs. So Booker's going to have to lead the charge, not just offensively, but defense. He's going to set the tone for the Phoenix Suns. But in all, I think this was a great win by the Phoenix Suns. I think the Dallas Mavericks were a team they had to beat, because if they would have lost in dramatic fashion again, then people would kind of be still like, oh, here we go again with the Suns, man. They're going to be trash. So I'm interested to see what happens to the Suns this year. And until next time, we respectfully say, pull up a seat, pull up a chair, pull out. Peace. I swim.